then again, started getting with, my mentors and different coaches. And then it evolved into, you don't have to do everything. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't do everything because you need to operate in your gift. Whatever you absolutely love doing, that's what you should do.
So here's the real mystery. How do regular folks like you and me, who have families and real lives, who have careers and regular 9-to-5s, really fare in the personal finance game? Why are some hugely successful while others fail miserably time and time again? Those are the glaring questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios.
All right, and welcome to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. My name is Charles McGill. I'm your host. So excited to be talking to you guys today. But before we get started, got to make sure the credit boss, aka credit coach, is in the building. It's Eva Palacios. You in the house?
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, yes. I am so glad we're able to get together.
Yes.
Me and you got these crazy busy weeks right now.
And I swear, I tell myself we're going to get better at planning this. Like we usually have a good plan, but then life happens and then it's like curveball.
Yeah. And we got a whole lot going on. Like I'm headed out of town tomorrow. Yep. I mean, nothing like you.
I don't know. But I feel like I get more excited of you like leaving versus you leaving.
Because I'm going to Atlanta. We're just visiting family.
But still, like that's Atlanta. Like it's not home. Like it's out.
Yeah, no, it's cool. We're gonna have fun. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. Our families, my wife's family's already agreed to watch The Boys for us. So we're gonna definitely, and I have some clients out there.
Paint the town red.
Yep. So I have some clients out there and some people that I've been able to meet, through the world of Zoom and the internet over the pandemic. But we've actually, got some pretty good relationships. So it'd be really nice to meet them in person for the first time. Meet all those folks. Actually, there's quite a few of them. So I'm really excited about going to Atlanta. So yeah.
Yay. I haven't been there yet. I don't think I've been there yet. I know. I mean, I've like crossed over like through the airport, but I don't think I've ever been to Atlanta.
No. Okay. Well, we may have to go back so we could just hang out and chill. Cause there's definitely a lot of stuff to do. As far as I remember, I've been there a couple of times, each time. So I'm going to really enjoy it, especially the food and all the different stuff.
That's good. Yay.
Yeah. So what's going on with you?
I have been really good about my running. I've been running at least 3 to 4 times a week, at
Very
least
nice.
3 miles, 3.5 miles each time. Try to go 4. I need to get up earlier. I need to get up earlier, start my day early. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is.
Gosh.
It is rough.
But I feel good. I feel energized. You vacation, you got holidays, graduations, like all of that catches up. And I was feeling it. Like I woke up one day and I was so mad because I'm like, I don't feel right. My energy levels were low. I felt extra heavy. I felt extra puffy. And I'm like, nope, we cutting this off and we are just cold turkey. Let's start running. And
Nice.
So we're good.
Yeah, I love that you can do that. You just kind of just turn it on. You're just like,
I know. Yeah. But it should I feel like when I turn it on, like it's beast mode. Like there is no calm. It's just all full force.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't have to get to that level. Like, why should I have to feel like heavy and puffy in order to do that? Like, why can't I just gradually do it all the time? But
yeah, that's a discipline.
I don't think I'm functioned that way.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And actually it's funny you kind of mentioned that because I kind of know that about your personality. So there's sometimes that I will kind of put things in front of you because I know if I do it a certain way, you're going to like go beast mode and we need you to go beast mode. So I love that about you. Don't change that, please.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I guess I guess for me, I have to operate in a sense to where I got to really be challenged. Like, don't tell me I can't do it because watch me.
Yeah.
Or enough is enough. Okay, let me just kill it and like shed 10 pounds in a week or something crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, like, I just feel like that's how I need to function.
Yeah. And I'm like the opposite, right? So I don't you start saying stuff like that to me, that's not going to motivate me at all. I don't care if you think I can do it or you think I can't. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. But so me, I'm more so motivated by like, the consistency of it. Like, is it well thought out? Is it a good plan?
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff that excites me. So if I see it's like really
mapped out.
Yeah, I'm like,
my meal prep is like this.
Yes,
my exercise routine is like this.
Yep.
And I do this like this every day. And then I start to see changes.
Then I can become a machine. I can literally become a machine and just like have no emotion and just do it. Like I can turn that on.
Yeah.
But it has to be laid out. Otherwise I'm not interested.
You're like, no, I don't think it works. Are you telling me just to like get up and run every day with like no reason?
Just
I don't think that's a good
I'm
plan.
Mad or something. No. But yeah, no. So it's funny because it's kind of what I want to talk about today. We have these different personalities. We have these different traits, if you will, but we also have these different strengths, right? Yes. And so one thing I think that works with us so well. I think a lot of people don't even like realize this because sometimes people have commented about our synergy and like how do we just meet and then all of a sudden form a company and then start.
Right? Like, who does that? What kind of complete strangers get together and just like make a company and like do stuff?
So, I believe it was God, it was, that God put each of us in each other's paths, and we just so happen to complement each other. But one thing that we recognize right away is that we have different strengths.
Yes.
And one thing I think that we're good at is that we don't get in each other's way when it comes to what each other's strengths are.
That's
right?
true. That is true.
So, when
I don't need another me running around.
Exactly. Right. And so, what I want to talk about today, because I think this would help a lot of our listeners is, like for me, for example, like part of, like one of my gifts that I had to accept and because I wasn't really sure initially, sometimes you kind of run away from your gift, right? You're like, I don't know if that's it. I don't really want it.
Right.
But, for me, like I know how to manage businesses, companies. I know how to develop them. I know how to kind of put the structure in. I know how to grow them. Like I just have this, it's a gift, right? It's something that I know how to do.
What you do.
It's what I do, right? And I've been able to do it for multiple companies, multiple people, and continue to have success. And so I started running away from that and started to embrace it. And the more I've been embracing that and say, this is who I am, but also starting to, to step away from the things that I'm not so great at, the better my life has gotten. Right. Yep. So as you guys know, people who've been listening know I have a digital marketing agency. So we've been looking to grow it. Right. And initially it was all me. It was just me, one man band. I was doing everything. Right. I was doing all the graphics, all the copy, just everything that people saw. It was all me. But then as I started to think about how to scale and how to grow and how to, become bigger and better, I started to think about what was I really gifted at. Right. And so the part that I'm gifted at is really the marketing and the business side. The graphics, I'm good enough, but there's people who are excellent. And so I have decided to create a team. And so now I'm building out a team, and I have an assistant that I've hired who's been super good and helpful with me. And
that's important, is finding somebody that actually like enjoys doing this and loves doing this.
Yeah. Doing the stuff I don't like doing. Right. Yeah. I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I really like thinking of how to create this kind of, funnel, if you will, which is basically just the customer's journey. I think I like thinking through that, but I don't necessarily like, sitting there building and designing all of it. Not all the time. Right. Some pieces of it. Yep. But so I got real with that. And so what I wanted to talk to people about, or have you talk to people about, is, why that's important and how, when we leverage our strengths and leverage our gifts versus others, how that helps us grow financially, how that helps us grow personally. So do you have any like examples of that?
Um, all kinds of examples. I would have to say that, I mean, like let's just take me back in the day. I would always be the one that would say, I can do it all. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll be the first one to volunteer. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Why? Because one, I enjoy doing it, but two, I was also good at doing it. And that's cool. But throughout time, I also learned that I can't do everything. I should. And so I evolved to, I can't do everything because now I'm getting burnt out.
Mm.
And then when the burnt out sets in, you're unhappy. If you're unhappy, the household's unhappy. The household's unhappy. It can be complete chaos. Then again, started getting with, my mentors and different coaches. And then it evolved into, you don't have to do everything. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't do everything because you need to operate in your gift. Whatever you absolutely love doing, that's what you should do. And whatever you don't like doing, or it's taking you forever to do, you need to hire people to do that stuff. And I would always think to myself, like, man, these people are bougie. Like, we really need an assistant around here. Like, why do you need an assistant? Why do you need a nanny? Why do you need a house cleaner? Why do you need a landscaper? Why do you need all these people? Like, I'd be the one doing it all. But then, one of my mentors said, well, how much time is it going to take you to do that one task that you absolutely do not like doing? And because you don't like doing it, it's going to take you 10 times longer to get it done. And look at all the time you done wasted when you could have took that time and spent it in what you love doing, and you'd get it done just super duper fast. But now you just wasted time.
Yeah.
And that's where I got good at understanding time versus money.
Hey, quick break here. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get you right back to it. We just want to spend a few seconds to talk about the EmpowerYou financial group on Facebook. This is Eva's private Facebook group where she gives free tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your financial situation. Join the over 1,000 plus member community and see the success stories of people just like you who want to live life on their own terms. Come laugh with us, tell your story, and share your victories. Just search EmpowerYou Financial in Facebook and join our free private group. Oh, and be sure to invite a friend.
I love that. Let's give some people some concrete examples of that, because I think that's a key one, right? And I'll tell you just one, even in my family, right? In my household. So, in my household, I'm the organized one. I'm the one who is, the one who if I see clothes on the floor, that annoys me, right? Fold your clothes, put them back, right?
Shoes everywhere.
Shoes, do the dishes, take things off the counter, put the pillows back. Like, I'm the person who recognizes that, sees that, it irritates me, and I want it clean, right?
Yep.
My wife, not so much, right? Which sometimes people think that's like opposite, right? They usually it's the woman. No, it's just the way it works in our relationship. Yeah. My wife, she don't care about that stuff. She's there's this song, actually, Solange's album. I think it was like maybe a couple albums ago. The one that was really popular, but she had this line in her two or three songs where she says, I like to cook, but not clean the dishes. Like she wants to, she loves to cook and eat, but not clean the dishes. That's my wife. That's my wife. She's a brilliant cook. I mean, excellent, phenomenal. She is like, it's one of the things that, when we were dating, which, she was like, I'll make you a meal. And when she did, I was like, oh my God. Like,
that's it. Like, seal the deal, sign me up forever until death do us part.
she is so good. But the kitchen will look crazy.
Yeah.
And
usually, I mean, that's what happens, right? In our household, you cook, I clean, or vice versa.
Oh, well, no. Actually, no, I'm not used to that. So like me growing up, my mom taught me how to cook and clean. So when Johnsy cooks, it's an explosion and it's crazy in there. It looks crazy. Yep. But when I cook, you can't tell that I cooked. I actually get pride off of that. Like, you'll see the lasagna, on the stove, but you won't see any ingredients anywhere to let you know that lasagna was made.
Right? We use it, we put it back. We use it, put it back. As we're cooking, while it's cooking, we're cleaning the counters.
That's it. That's me, right? And I thought that was everybody. No, not at all. No. And so we had to, we've been kind of evolving as a marriage to understand each other and how this works, right? So now the dynamic is more so, she cooks, I clean. Yep. But then it was funny because initially she would be like, no, because she's a high I, and so she's like, no. I got it. I'll do it. Like everything is like,
and not only will I do it, but I'll do it and I'm happy about it. Like, oh no, I got it. Like, don't worry, I got it. Yeah. But then they don't really got it. They don't got it. Because that's not how they build.
Exactly. Not at all. Right. And so I used to fall for it. I kept falling for it. And then, day would go by and I'm like, hey, I thought she was going to get picked up. No, I got it. I will. Nope. I'm like, so it got to a point where I was like, okay, we can't do this anymore. Like, I can't wait on you. I'm just gonna have to do it. And I had to, accept that part of me. So anyway, point I'm making is, there's dynamics that we have in our relationships, right? Yeah. And sometimes we're stuck kind of forcing ourselves to do stuff that we don't like doing. Another example, real quick. Sorry, don't mean to talk so much.
Go for it. Yes. I love when Charles talks. People love you. Like, let's go. People love you.
So my wife, she would be like, hey, Charles, I think it'd be really great if you plan out, something fun for me and the boys to do, for the weekend. Your dad, plan it out. Cause that was something for her. Like, her uncle used to be that way. He would plan out all these elaborate trips and different things, and she'd have tons of fun. So she wanted the boys to experience that with me. And I'd be like, I hear what you're saying. That sounds cool, but I don't know if that's not really my thing. It's not that I don't like having fun. Like, I will go, I will fund it. I will go, I'll have a great time, but planning it out in terms of like thinking of what people like to do and fun, I just couldn't do it. Right. And so anyway, we would get into these, these tense moments because she'd be thinking like, well, I didn't care enough to do it. And it's like, no, it's not that I don't care. It's just, I really don't feel like I'm good at this at all.
Which is so weird to me because, you're very structured and organized. So how can you not do that? Because, let me clarify that. So this is a common misunderstanding. I'm structured and organized. I can get the logistics of it. But in terms of the level of fun factor, I don't know how much fun you're going to have. It's going to be well planned out. You're going to get there on time. You're going to have everything's going to go smoothly. But in terms of your fun, I don't know that. What?
Yeah. So I know it. My wife, so same weird. Thing she had to say. But so this is what we finally like came to an agreement on. She comes up with the big idea. So she's like, let's go to whatever. Let's go to Atlanta and have our son's party.
And let's make sure we do this, this, and this. Make sure there's dinners. Make sure there's, I don't know, whatever.
Yes. And so then I go, okay, so how much is all this going to cost? How much do we need to budget? What time are we leaving? How far is this away? Like, I start thinking of like how actually all of this happens. Because what happens is if I just left it up to her to say, okay, that sounds amazing, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
We would get there and we would probably not leave to the place on time because she didn't know that it was an hour away because she didn't look at the map. She didn't look at the addresses, right? She may not have made the deposit down.
Might be 5 hour drive time.
She didn't account for any of that. She didn't, when she get there, she didn't account for, like how many people we'd actually need versus how many she invited, like it's a lot of that logistical stuff. She doesn't think, she's just like, I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to go there. It's going to be great.
Show up and have fun.
Yeah. Everyone's going to have a great time. But I used to tell her, cause there's times where this happened. I'm like, this party's not fun. And the reason why it's not fun is because everyone's here at 3 and you're still cooking.
Oh no.
And so basically we're not going to eat until 6 and everyone planned on leave by 6.
Yep.
And so this is why this is not fun. So once we came together and we brought our gifts together, and so she would say, okay, I want this, this, and that. I'm like, all right, okay. In order for that to actually happen, you're going to start cooking tonight.
Or hire a team to cook.
Or hire somebody. She's like, I'm going to make the cake. No, you're not. I'm going to purchase the cake.
Yep.
Yep. Like, because, just stuff like that.
So, like 4 hours to make.
Exactly. Right. So, but anyway, that's the kind of stuff that, we've realized, and even in business, right? And in finances, I'm realizing like even more and more, like, I think earlier in the podcast, we used to talk about like the lawn, and who's going to do that. Well, we finally back to hiring a landscaper. Why? Because I was spending 3 hours, every other week doing it.
Yeah. Well, they come in like 45 minutes. They did done. And I'm
I don't even know it's done because I never leave my room. So it's I walk outside. It's like, oh, sweet. The lawn's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us a little, talk to us more about how this shows up for you. And then also, just how it translates to actually saving people money and time.
Absolutely. And I think that right there for me, is what really gets me the most is time versus money. Perfect example, Desmond's birthday party. Like, I am crazy busy. Like, I don't got time to be planning a party. I mean, I knew he was turning 20 for a whole year, but I'm like, we jamming. Like, I don't got time. And so as the date started approaching, I'm like, I got to get to this. But I'm the same way. So like for me, my fun factor is like, okay, we want to have a party. How many people are we inviting? Okay, about 75. Great. What are we going to eat? Okay, like I'll be like, okay, I know we need a tent. I know we need a table, chairs for 75 people. We need a DJ. We need a photo booth. We need a taquera, a cake.
Yeah. See, actually, that's your D. That's your D. That's putting all that together. Like the results.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the result, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't want to make the phone calls. Like, I don't got time to be finding these people.
Yes.
Like, really? I mean, thank goodness I am surrounded by some people because I'm like, I don't know. I asked somebody on Facebook, like, who makes the cake? Like, tag your favorite cake people. Boom, boom, boom. I looked at their pages. Okay, that one looked good. She was booked. That one, she's available. Perfect. I'll take it. Like, I am so not picky. I just want the job to get done. Mm-hmm. And I want it to obviously, look good. But at the same time, like, I want people to have fun. Yep. So I mean, at the end of the day, but I like, how much time that took, but thank goodness, like I had people in my corner that were like, oh, no problem. Like I got this. Like, I know this girl. I will set up the balloon arch. I wasn't even thinking about balloon color schemes. We need color schemes. Mm-hmm. Like, I was not even thinking about, I'm just like food, music, pictures. Like, that's it.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, that's the same dynamic we have, right? I mean, You're like, hey, Charles, this is my big dream about what I want to do.
Yeah.
In terms of the community, I'm like, oh, cool. This is like when we first met. I'm like, okay, cool. Where's your website? You're like,
a website.
A website. I'm like, okay, so tell me more about. You're like, I just have it in my head. This is what I want to do. I was like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, well, I could probably help with this because
how's anybody going to know what you do if you don't even have a website? I'm like, I've been operating on Facebook for the past 5 years. Like, we are good
and doing great. Doing great. Yeah.
But now look at how much better it got because we got the systems in place and we got like fabulous looking stuff. And I'm like, yeah, your girl clearly wasn't doing this for the last 5-6 years, but now we doing it. And it's so funny because other people recognize, they're like, oh my gosh, I've seen you evolve. Like, how do you do this? I'm like, I don't know. Ask Charles. Like, I don't do that. Like Charles, like he do it and not me.
Yeah.
But that's where we got to get good because at the end of the day, you're either going to spend a bunch of time doing it. And the question is, while you're doing it, are you going to be happy or are you going to be miserable?
Yeah.
And for me, my happiness is worth billions. Mm-hmm. So I will gladly pay people to operate in their gift because that's what they love to do. Yeah. So I used to think like, oh, these people, they hire these assistants because they just don't want to do it because they just don't want to. Like, they're like, well, why not just pay somebody else to do it? Yeah. No, it's because that's not what they're good at.
Yeah.
So you pay the people that are good at that stuff and boom, everybody's happy.
Yeah. Or people like another thing too, like, I mean, I just want to kind of demystify some of this in terms of like, because I could hear already some people thinking like, okay, y'all big time. Okay, that's that's honestly what it is, right? Y'all got a little money, you starting to feel yourself a little bit. So now you trying to hire people and I could say this as someone who, once again, I'm on a journey with y'all.
We poor people. We about to like be in a negative.
don't know about all that, but, but we do it okay. But I mean, we have ebbs and flows, right? We have ups and downs. Our business is just like any other business. We have ups and downs. We have expenses. But this is the thing. Like what I'm realizing is that as you, expand, like you have to invest not only in yourself but invest in others.
Yes.
And you only hurt yourself. Yeah, you only hurt yourself if you're trying to do everything. And this is something that whether you're someone who's working a 9 to 5, and you're trying to start an extra business, or you're just trying to manage your finances, but you're not good at finances, you might want to consider getting a coach. Yeah. Maybe that's not your gift. Or you might want to consider having your significant other do the finances if you're not so great at it. Right. That's all we're sharing is like, if you're someone who struggles with certain things, like maybe weight loss, maybe like what mental health, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Don't sit there and try to do it all your own. No. And try to like think that you just need to become better at it. No. Right. Because there's some things you may never, ever become good at. Right. Nope. Like as much as I like, for me, like people are, sometimes not shocked, but, I have to tell them, I have to remind them I'm an introvert. I mean, Charles, I hear you talking. You seem so cool. I'm like, yeah, but that's exhausting to me. You don't understand. Like it takes a lot out of me to like, kind of like do all that. Right. And, but every time I've tried to become this person that's like, well, let me just, try to be that person all the time. Yep. I realized that is not me. Like as much as it would sound cool sometimes, or maybe think about like, me being, this speaker everywhere. I don't really want to do that if I'm being truly honest. Right. Yeah. But I do love like hearing other people. I love uplifting people. I love seeing you shine and all the other people that I've helped and worked with. I love that. That really, really inspires me. But and that's young Malcolm making an appearance, but I don't know if you guys can hear him or not. He's looking like daddy right now with his headphones. He's like, let me get on this podcast too. Yeah, but so you know what I'm saying, even. Absolutely. It's so true. And at the end of the day, it's like it's okay to feel that you can't do it all. Like, it's okay. Like, there's so many people that get stressed out with, I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this. And they're battling and arguing with themselves and then putting them more stress on them. And the stress can then turn into depression and then everything can go bad. Yeah. It's like, oh man. I mean, I just remember, a couple of years ago when we, when Will and I, got with ET and, he introduced us to this DISC assessment thing. And I'm just like, wait, what? Like you just like, he is like reading me, telling me what I like to do and what I don't like to do and how I interact in certain situations. I'm like, what? So I went through this, this course, this coaching program. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I see everybody differently. Yeah. Like everybody, even same thing with my hubby, same thing. Fun guy is like, let's go do this. Let's go do that. And, he's the one, crazy as it may sound, you guys, think that like, I'm just the speaker of everything. Cause you all see me right here, but you throw me into a crowd, I'm going to be in the corner by myself. Like, not talking to nobody. Where hubby, he can go into any room and talk to anybody about anything. And he's also the type of person that will get on the phone to call you to actually have a conversation. Me, I'm like, just text them, like text, like let's text, like we don't want to interrupt them. Like, what if they're busy? Let's send a text. And if they want to chat, boom. And it's so crazy because my people, I know those who call me, what kind of personality they are versus those who are texting. Like we can have a whole conversation via text. Long text. And that's I know those people too. So it's like, it's just mind blowing how certain people will operate not realizing that they've got a superpower that they should focus on. And if they maximize that strength, they could literally conquer the world. Yeah. So let's talk to him a little bit more about that because it's one thing to say, okay, I recognize I'm not great at this. And so I'm going to get some help and I'm going to have other people help me with these things. But what does it mean to lean into your gift, right? So for example, like with you, obviously we see, you being someone who, is extremely talented and gifted around personal finance, right?
Yeah.
Reading the tea leaves and just understanding, people's whole situation.
Yeah.
And so, talk to us about how that journey's been for you when you've kind of started to lean into it and how that's like, what that's opened up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I mean, I'm going to take it back to my job, being in that environment for so many years and just becoming, getting trained and getting, to learn all of the credit and all the financial stuff, all of the laws and stuff like that. Like that was my environment. That was my job. It was my environment. It's something that I constantly, was exposed to every single day, 8 hours a day.
And just so we're clear, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you've told me this. You were there for 17 years.
Yep.
That wasn't common. That wasn't like everybody around you was there for 17 years.
Oh, no, right? Definitely. I mean, I would have to say I will say this, the job that we had, I mean, it was definitely a great work environment. Like the CEO, like her office was right behind me. Like that's how close we were. So the turnover rate was very minimal. So on average, people were there probably at least between 5 and 10 years on average.
Okay.
But again, like not everybody can do what we did. I mean, I saw a lot of people like come in 2 weeks, they were gone, and they'd come in 3 months, they were gone. It does take a certain type of person to have this or to have that type of job. You are dealing with people's finances, but you also have to be in a place to where you have confidence in the information you're delivering and being able to guide them and coaching them to some really good financial options.
Yeah.
Some people, even though the laws are the laws and the facts are the facts, they were still doubting. Yeah. So they were like, this isn't for me. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And the point I'm just trying to quickly make there is just that, we have all the same stuff. Like there's like, for example, like with me, when it comes to designing like graphics, like I said, I don't think this is necessarily my gift, but I know I'm better than most, right? And so like we could have the same platform. Like I could be using, something like, not a crazy tool, but like a free tool like Canva. But when I do stuff on Canva versus when somebody else does something on Canva, again,
let's talk about that, right?
Eva's doing a look for those on YouTube. You can see her look.
This is a perfect example. I'd be like, Charles, I need help. I'm trying to like make this thing on Canva to post on my social media. And it literally takes me hours. And then he's like, so what are you trying to do? So I'm like screenshotting him. I'm like, I want this, like this, like this. I kid you not. In 30 seconds, he sends it to me. And I'm like, what in the world? Like I just spent an hour and a half trying to figure out how to make the letters in a certain font and a certain color. And I'm like, yeah, clearly this isn't for me.
Yeah. And I mean, but it was funny because too, like we had to have that conversation at some point. I was like, okay, listen, just stop doing stuff in Canva, please.
Stop it.
Just
stop it.
Just give it to me. Let me know what you need. I got you.
And then it was me saying, no, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, I got it. No, I don't want to bother you with this. I'll do it because I want to figure it out. Still to this day, guys, I mean, I don't know. We've been in business over a year and I still haven't figured it out. Like,
well, see, so what we're getting a little bit of behind the information or behind the scenes, but now you actually do the stuff in Canva. So the stuff that they see is you. Yes. However, now there's a system.
There is a system. And
so now, it's kind of, and I've created it where it's kind of pretty much fail safe. You can't really mess it up. Like,
your girl got a tutorial. I'll do this and like this and don't touch that. Keep it like this. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Now I feel like I'm a little bit of a Canva expert, even though I'm not. But it's so true. So that's what's super important. It's like, and while I was doing it, the entire time I was spending an hour and a half on one little thing, all I kept saying was, my time can be better spent on the phone, talking to people, following up with people on social media, having conversations, creating networking events. I call them grown-up play dates, lunch dates. Like That's my jam. Why am I wasting an hour and a half doing this nonsense?
Exactly. And that's what we need you to do, because I'm not going to do it. We're partners in this thing, but I ain't going to be out there doing that. That's not. And people, it's funny because sometimes people come to me asking me credit advice. And if I'm like, hold on, no. Don't get this confused. I am not the person to be asking none of that.
Yeah. Like, you better talk to Eva.
Talk to Eva. Don't even, I'm not even going to try to give you no advice. Yeah.
Same thing like with me. They're like, well, how do you do that? And how did that, well, like, that's amazing. And I'm like, Dr. Charles, like, he's the one.
Too funny.
Oh man, it is so true though. Like and then not only that, the feeling of all of this weight lifted off of my shoulders, knowing that we got people that can do the things that we dread to do. Yeah. And because it just sucks all the energy out of me. No, you put me in front of people and go talk about financial stuff at a party, nonchalant. That's my jam. I will talk all day, whoever wants to hear me talk about finances. But you make me do something that I'm not comfortable with doing. Oh, I'm mentally checked out for the next week.
Yeah. Well, it's been amazing to see that, because you continue to be in your gift, and it continues to make room for you. For those who understand that reference, like that's like a scriptural reference. And from what I understand that it means is basically it's like when you're operating in your gift, opportunities start to come up, and things that you may not even been aware of, right? Your name starts getting mentioned in rooms that you're not even around, but because you're operating in your gift and people recognize this is something you're very good at. Yep. You're getting mentioned. For me, I know, like when it comes to finances, I mean, since we've met, and I'm thankful, very grateful for you being in your gift, because, me and my wife, whenever we mention, finances or anything, we're like, hold on. Like, should we talk to Eva about this or,
Yes, not should. We need to.
Well, I try to remember if you already told me, if it's something you already told me. So, but we make sure to check in, right? Because, you're gifted in this, and I can definitely attest to the fact that things have gotten better for us since you've been sharing your gift, and really appreciative of that. Yeah. So before we wrap this up, because we're kind of close on time, if you can just talk to the people about, one, them leaning into their gifts, and two, them, being okay with letting other people help them out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, you have a superpower. You may not realize that you do. And this is where you got to get with the right people to figure out what you are good at, how you are good at it. And you may think like, I'm not good at this, but really you are, because it's an outside expert that's telling you like, okay, they literally like summing you up and like figuring you out. You need these people in your life, because chances are, if you figure out what your superpower is, everything else that is stressing you out, that is being a burden or pressure or anxiety levels, all of that can go away. And how do we make that go away? By loving to hire people to take on those tasks and not feeling like you're burdening them. No, they love doing that kind of stuff. And that's really what's important, is making sure you know what you are good at, operating in your superpower so that you can be the best you to serve others. And for all the other stuff that you don't like doing, no problem hiring those guys to do it. So this way you have a complete operational business that is constantly thriving because you're doing what you were meant to be done.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. One of the things that Eva enjoys most about being in personal finance is seeing people win. So if you are looking to improve your credit score because you're ready to make a major purchase, get better rates, or start living life on your own terms, visit Eva at evaempowers.com and schedule a consultation with her so you too can live life empowered.